Well, the end of May is here and it came a lot faster than I expected. I had planned to make a monthly tour of the garden so that I could share with you the progress. So I think what I'll do is I'll just make the next one toward the end of June. But I'm going to start the tour from the same spot where I began it. I think it was maybe mid-April, and flip around and show you the progress of the garden so far. This month has been very busy time in the garden. All the plants are outside now, although I haven't planted everything. We've had about 3 days of heat that feels like middle or late July. So everything has really popped. All the trees have their leaves, and a lot of the plants and seedlings in the garden have started really doing their thing. And of course the weeds have also been doing their thing. So you're going to see lots of weeds in my tour. So I hope you enjoy seeing what else is growing and coming along in the garden. This is our back bed, and right now it just has no edibles in this garden. So at the back there, that's I want to say it's a helianthus. It's related to sunflower, and it's supposed to get really tall and beautiful yellow flowers on it. I have some cannas in the ground there, and hostas, and this crazy stripy grass that goes everywhere. And these flowers, these are dianthus that I had in the garden last year, and they didn't die, and they're gonna bloom. So you never know. Sometimes you get little microclimates and things survive that you don't expect will survive. The rhubarb's been doing really well this summer. I've already harvested a couple of times and made some treats, some jam, some syrups, and a cake. You can see this one is flowering, so I'm going to be cutting that stalk off because I want the plant to continue to make rhubarb stalks that I can eat. You can't eat this stalk. Just a side note, also the leaves of rhubarb plants are toxic, so you don't want to eat those. These are raspberry canes that I transplanted from a different part of the garden. For the most part, they've done really well in bouncing back. Raspberry canes are pretty hardy around here, so I don't expect that these are gonna struggle too much more. They're already perked right up after a couple of days of being moved. These are blackberries, and they grow big long canes, so they will be growing on this support. And this is a new bed that I've made this year. It's what I'm calling the tea garden. So I have lemon balm, holy basil, or you might know it as tulsi, always with the bindweed. This is valerian, and chamomile, and of course there's tons of catnip. You can make tea from catnip. It has a different effect on people than it does on cats. I got all the tomatoes in a couple of mornings ago, and it was really hot out, and I was up early. And people have been asking me, what are these cups for? Well, it's me being lazy or not having had time to make proper tags for these. And they have the name of the variety, so I've just done that so I can remember. So we've got indigo apple, purple smudge, and you can see this one did get a little bit burned, but it's gonna be okay. That happens sometimes. This one, blush, and Dr. Witchy's yellow, which is an enormous beefsteak style tomato. I have marigolds planted in a row in front of the tomatoes. They're supposed to help deter some pests and attract beneficial insects. And then the last set of tomatoes I have are Gilbert paste, and I did 4 of those, so I'll be able to make sauces. Over here I have some red romaine. This is a red mustard leaves, red mustard, and you can eat these leaves. They're pretty spicy, so they're great in salads. They're popping up everywhere that I have put my compost on the garden, so clearly there's seeds from those guys in the compost, but that's okay because it's bonus food. These little guys are cilantro, which I planted in here. And there's also rainbow chard in here. So I'm gonna wait till these seedlings get bigger and then I will weed out the other stuff that you're seeing in this bed. And in this bed, again with the mustard, there's also a lot of dill volunteers in here. So dill seed has gone to seed. So my plan, once the radishes are all done, is just to leave this for dill. And you can see the radishes are perfect right now. So we'll be eating these in salads for the next little while. And you can eat the leaves too. You can put the leaves in salads. There's also a few of the French baby leeks in here, but not very many germinated, so I'm a little disappointed. There's another one. So I'm, again, just waiting for them to get bigger so I can see what's what in this bed. There's a couple more. So I'll probably just tuck some flowers in with these guys. The lettuce has been amazing this year. I'm super proud of these guys, and we've been eating some really nice salads. This is black-seeded Simpson lettuce and a butter crunch. More tomatoes. These are Amana orange, another beefsteak, and these are Paul Robeson. So this is the only one that I did 3. Paul Robeson are a dark purple, most delicious tomato. So we did 3 of those. And then this is the Minnesota midget melon. And I had 3 little babies. So I planted them at the base of this support here. I'm hopeful this one will come along. This guy's getting eaten. But of the 3, if one of them takes, then it should be good. And here is a lot of random stuff. I'm trying to figure out what to do with this section because I've got some good volunteers in here. I had some sunflowers show up, which this just could either be from composted sunflower seeds or a sunflower head, or it could be from birdseed. Either way, I love sunflowers, so I'll let them do their thing. This is spinach, which I did plant. More of this red mustard. That's a nice spinach coming along. And then there's also more dill in here. So I think I will just be waiting kind of to see what I need to do with this spot. I did put yesterday one of my basils out to see how it would do, if it would get burned here. This was kind of a sacrificial basil and it's doing fine. So I think I may use this bed just to do random herbs and mostly basil and some more marigolds. And then behind it you can see the leafy green blend, which was California spicy mix, and the wine country mescaline are doing really well. In fact, some of it tried to bolt in the heat. The arugula tried to bolt, so I just cut the stalks off. And behind it, the purple moon kale and the blue Tuscan is doing well, although it did get eaten a little bit by a bunny this morning. But overall, the plant is okay. And in here we have beets, which I grow for both the root, so the beet itself, and the leaves, which are delicious in salads. This bed has potatoes. These were not fancy potatoes. These were just potatoes that had started to sprout in the house. So we planted them. This one is the biggest plant so far. So pretty soon we'll have to mound up some more earth around them. And the peas are there as well. And some of them have started grabbing toward the supports that I've put there. And then the garlic. So coming back toward the back of our yard, this is a work in progress. This is a red maple we have back here, and underneath is very shady. So I'll be plodding away at this a little bit all summer probably. And it's a very nice cool spot to come and work if it's hot out. As you can see, we're in the middle of some work here, but we had just cut out some sod where it wasn't really growing along the pathway here between the tree and the climbing structure, and just put down some bags of soil. I have some plants to put in here, so it will take a little time for this to sort of naturalize. And I'm sure all these little violets and other spreaders will make their way in as well. But that's okay. We don't mind this being a little bit wild. And there's some very nice plants in here. This is a lungwort, I believe, or pulmonaria is the other name for it. Some columbines are in here. My other white bleeding heart. And this is a new piece of a hosta that I got out of my mother-in-law's garden, and it's one of the big blue ones. So it's just recovering from being transplanted, but I'm excited about that. The lily of the valley is going to start really blooming soon. And what I have mostly spreading in here is this false lamium. And it's really, really pretty when it is flowering. Even the leaves are pretty, but it's pretty invasive. So it's good for a spot where you want it to spread. The daffodils are done. I have deadheaded them, but the foliage is still here for now. My peony is going gangbusters right now. It has lots of ants on the buds, and people will ask about that, but it's normal. It's okay. There's sugars in the plant that the ants are attracted to, and they actually help the buds of the peony plants open. So don't worry if you see ants all over your peonies. Totally normal. This peony originally came from my great-grandmother Bailey's garden. Then it was in my grandmother's garden, and then my aunt's, and now it's in mine. I also have some cannas in here, and this is a tall green-headed coneflower, which is a very cool plant. Gets really tall. The pollinators love it, and then the birds love to eat the seeds. This is a echinacea that's red. The flower is red, so it will be pretty. Phlox. My Japanese maple is so lovely right now. And this is comfrey. Comfrey is an awesome plant to have in your garden. It has grown so fast over the last week. It's changing every day. And the bees absolutely love this plant, so it's very pollinator friendly. And the leaves you can use to make sort of a compost tea for watering your plants, and the plants love it. So this usually will flower and be done, and I cut it back, and then it does one more whole flush of flowers again, a second time in this season. The little dwarf irises are almost finished. These are red currants. You can see the fruit is now on the shrub, but they're green right now. I had a little English lavender come back, survived the winter here, which was a nice surprise. This is a Sum and Substance hosta. I love the big hostas. Hello. Yes, my cheeky. More herbs. Everything is quite happy. There's a tarragon back there from Heather, and cilantro, some more cilantro babies coming along. My mint is looking awesome. This will be great for salads or mojitos. And back here I have a cinnamon basil, which smells so heavenly. And I've got it in this makeshift pot, which I made out of a cat litter container. But I wanted this in a pot because I want to be able to move it around in the hot heat of the summer. I want to be able to put it in a little bit cooler spot. Got a couple more tomatoes over here. These are the Tasmanian chocolates. And out by the gate, this crazy stuff. This is Solomon seal. It's gone totally crazy. I have to cut it back this fall. I'm not gonna do it now because it's flowering, and it's another pollinator friendly plant. This white bleeding heart is just breathtaking and absolutely loves this spot as well. This is an epimedium that's pretty much done flowering as well. It's massive. I have to divide it as well. Pretty two-tone hosta here, another summon substance, a couple hydrangeas that I moved, and I also tucked another couple of tomatoes because I just love tomatoes and I can't not find a spot for them. So those ones are the Japanese trifle tomato, which is a new one for me. I know, you want to come on the tour. Back in the back part of the yard again, and surprise, surprise, another tomato. This one is a mortgage lifter. Daylilies are getting big. And down in these planters, which are just Home Depot buckets, these are currant tomatoes, and I'm going to stake them just by tying them onto this trellis. There's 2 of those. And in this little corner back here, I've got a banana legs tomato, a butternut squash, 2 butternut squash. Just threw a couple marigolds in there. In this recycle bin, which I'm repurposing, rainbow carrots. Some more of those Japanese trifle tomatoes are in these containers. And these are jalapeno, mini chocolate bell, and bell peppers. And these are just some odds and ends that I haven't planted yet. You can see my basil is there, my hollyhocks, a fennel, cornflower, alyssum, forget-me-nots, all kinds of odds and ends. And in these, I'm going to probably put cucumbers, but I have to figure out some kind of support for them. Cucumbers I'm trading with someone who has them to offer in exchange for some tomatoes. Up on the deck on the table, still have lots of marigolds to plant. And this is a sedum that I dug up. It came apart in a bunch of pieces, so I've potted them for now. I'm not sure yet where they're gonna go, but I just couldn't bring myself to throw them in the compost because the leaves are really pretty. I also have some nasturtiums to tuck around, and morning glory. So there's still a lot to do, but everything's coming along really well. So the funniest thing happened while I was just getting started, back when I was showing you the rhubarb. You could hear some birds fly over. I think they were blackbirds or starlings, and one of them totally crapped on my back. So I had to go change. And the funny thing is that has never happened to me until yesterday. Yesterday in the parking lot of the LCBO, I was shat on by a seagull. And I even said to Graham, I'm 43 and that's the first time that's ever happened to me. And then it happened to me again today. So they say it's good luck. I'm gonna take it as good luck in the garden, and I'm gonna have a phenomenal lucky year in the garden now that I've been crapped on by 2 birds 2 days in a row. So I hope your garden is growing well. I love to chat about flowers and food plants and herbs. I've been sharing lots of seeds and seedlings with folks that I know, folks that I don't know. So that's been really filling my heart up during this crazy year that's been so hard on so many people. So I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I welcome your questions. I welcome photos of your garden, photos of your plants, your kids growing food, and I hope that you'll come back next month for the update, and we'll see what's happening toward the end of June here in the garden too.